Welcome back to Hannity. So the Wall Street Journal reported today that President Obama's furious with President Trump. Shouldn't it be the other way around? The article also notes that Trump reached out to Obama after his inauguration to thank him for the handwritten note that that Obama left, and he never returned his call. Now, the unreturned gesture is hardly surprising, given the downright nasty things Obama said about Trump during the campaign season. Take a look.
He's insecure enough that he pumps himself up by putting other people down. He doesn't care much about the basic values that we try to impart to our kids.
If your closest advisors don't trust you to tweet, how can you trust them with the nuclear codes? You can't do it. If you accept the support of Klan sympathizers before you are president, you will accept their support after you're president.
Joining us now with reaction, the host of Michelle Malkin Investigates on CRTV.com, Michelle Malkin. And starting today, by the way, new episodes of her program are available. Okay, so he supports the protesters, those snowflakes out there protesting. He said horrible things about him on the campaign, doesn't return a phone call. If I'm Trump, I'm like, who cares what he thinks at this point?
That's how President Trump should feel about this nasty man who will not leave the Beltway. But this is a lesson, unfortunately, that too many establishment Republicans have not learned over the years. And that is when Democrats pretend to give you an olive branch, they're not actually making a signal or a gesture at working together. What they're going to do is snatch that olive branch back and beat you over the heads with it, because that's what Democrats do.
All right. Isn't it time, really, all these holdovers, there are over 500 people that need to be confirmed by the Senate. And we only got Ben Carson and Rick Perry last week. Isn't it time every Obama holdover needs to be shown the door? Because some of them in there, I believe, and as evidenced by John Solomon and Sarah Carter, my opening segment of the show tonight, there are people in there that are sabotaging the current president because they agree with the old president. Don't they need to all go? Didn't Clinton do that when he became president?
Absolutely, he did. And they applied every ideological and political partisan litmus test under the sun to do it. Why shouldn't the Trump administration play by the same rules? And in fact, in many cases there are. It's just going to take a long time. I mean, they've got to drain the swamp and clean house in every crack and crevice of the federal bureaucracy. And of course, it's most urgent and exigent in the Justice Department, the Department of Defense. And then you've got to work your way all the way down to all of the domestic policy. Yes?
Is John Solomon and Sarah Carter, these are respected journalists. I mean, Solomon was with the AP for 20 years. And what do you make of what they discovered is that, in fact, there was a Pfizer surveillance in the weeks leading up to the election, and reporting now that there might have been a second warrant that was issued, non-Pfizer. I mean, yes, a sitting president, and he said, well, I didn't order it. Did he know about it? Did his attorney general know about it? Did the people around him know about it? Any information shared with Hillary? And what was the reason for this? What was the justification? And did anybody think about the political ramifications? Did they see any of the internal political? Remember, the political campaign was being run under the same email server. Did anyone think that maybe they shouldn't have access to that?
Yeah, right. Well, Solomon and Carter are both incredible journalists. They're doing the job that so many of the lapdog dogs in the Beltway media refuse to do under Obama. And of course, it's the kind of muckraking that so many of these liberal journalists refuse to do. Until they woke up when Trump was sworn into office. And it certainly does lend itself, the more that they dig and produce these kinds of scoops, circumstantial evidence of something that I know happened under the last 8 years of the administration, because I documented it so comprehensively in Culture of Corruption. And that is that this president Obama used every single lever of power in his reach to aggrandize himself and secure a permanent ruling majority for the Democrats. Why wouldn't they use the CIA?
They stomped all over the Constitution. Nothing would surprise me. Michelle, congrats on the show. Thanks for being with us.
You bet.